Let's skip the normal intro and get right into today's topic. If this is your first time here on my channel, hi, I'm Gigi. We are the Journey Fam, and I highly recommend you check out my other videos about manifestation. Today, I want to talk about the law of assumption perspective when it comes to manifesting a specific person. And this doesn't have to be a romantic interest. This could be absolutely anyone in your life who you are trying to specifically create a relationship with, or trying to get back in a relationship with someone who you're in no contact with. All of these different circumstances, the same things apply. A conscious manifestation perspective is often quite different from a world perspective. And by world, I mean mainstream advice that seems to spread like wildfire, blaming and pointing fingers when it comes to friendships, relationships. It tends to have a toxic quality because it's a lot about labeling people and putting them in boxes and not taking accountability for your actions. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, there can be some victim shaming sometimes, and people feeling like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and really cutthroat coaches who are making you walk on eggshells when it comes to how you interact with others. And I don't think that that's healthy either. I think we should be extremely conscious of the words we say and the behaviors that we exhibit, but sometimes you really do need to stand in your power and set a boundary. And I just think either extreme absolutely makes no sense in this case. And we need to get back into a balanced understanding of what it's like to be in relationship with absolutely anyone. So I just kind of want to bring things back into balance and rant about what you should be keeping in mind and getting back to the very bare minimum basics. I wish I had this video when I was in my early 20s because I've learned a lot, and I wish I had the information I have now then. And actually, I want to correct myself because I had a lot of this information back then, but I didn't have the specific law of assumption perspective that I have now. And also, I didn't have the context to properly apply what I had been reading and learning. A lot of this video is going to be about application. The application is the part that gets more advanced. And to start off, I really want to ask you, who are you being when it comes to relationships? And specifically, think about romantic partnerships. Who do you consider yourself as? Someone who naturally attracts really fulfilling, enjoyable, balanced, healthy, but also exciting and dynamic relationships? Or do you see yourself as someone who just can't seem to figure it out? And no matter what you do, every other area of your life seems to be flying high. And then when it comes to relationships, there are all these stumbling blocks, and you're just one of those people who never seems to have that quintessential love story, no matter how hard you try. If that is what's playing in the back of your mind, and be really authentic and honest with yourself, then that's the crux of the issue. That's what we need to address here, because manifesting when it comes to a specific person is like anything else. Your relationship with money has to do with your money story. And yes, it has deep roots that often stem from childhood, but it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Success when it comes to financial stability or your ability to live where you want to live has a direct correlation with the stories you're telling in that area of your life. And it's funny because I think the information is so rudimentary, basic, preschool level understanding. 1 + 1 = 2, like, duh, the stories I'm telling are going to play out in my reality. But when we are faced with triggers, or we are faced with reminders of past experiences, or just playing out dynamics that we've rehearsed in our mind and in our body's remembering how to react in certain scenarios, or based on how we feel like someone's treated us for so many years, then it's just so easy to fall back into that pattern of telling the story again when we know the new story is what's going to benefit us and change the trajectory of what we're experiencing. Get back to the bare minimum basics of, how do I want to feel in a relationship? And how can I create a lifestyle that promotes that actually being my reality? Taking care of myself, loving myself so deeply, and focusing 80% of my affirmations and my visualizations and my entire lifestyle around making myself as strong and vibrant as possible, and peeling back the layers, even if I feel like I have every area of life figured out. Where is my weakest link, and how can I boost myself up even more? And then put myself in scenarios where I can organically improve myself with like-minded people. These are the questions we have to ask ourselves, instead of asking ourselves the questions, how many times should I be repeating this SP affirmation per day? How often should I be doing this twin flame meditation per day? That's all well and good, but are you actually telling the story dominantly that you want to experience? How can you redirect your attention to what you want by investing in yourself and creating an environment for yourself, even if it's not an external environment, an internal environment where the seeds that you're planting for a healthy relationship can actually grow. Anyway, I hope that this kind of shook you up a little bit and reminded you that you just need to be telling the story that you want to experience more than you're telling the story that you've practiced a million times but don't like anymore. Breaking the habit of being that person and telling that old story, and then practicing the habit of being the new person and being in the new favorable story or timeline, and then canceling out all the other miscellaneous, extraneous information and advice and perspectives. If it helps you, great. But if it's complicating things and confusing you, please put it in the trash can. And remember that Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy and all of these greats who we've learned from over the years, Florence Scovel Shinn, they're all about living from the end and having confidence in the outcome that you want to experience. And that's a commonality between all these teachers. They all have different ways of going about it. And Florence Scovel Shinn, for example, really talks about leaving it up to God. Whether you believe that or not, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is being in that state of the wish fulfilled, not coming from urgency and desperation, and not listening to this mainstream advice that revolves around manipulation and trying to contort yourself to be something that you're not, or to act a certain way because you feel like that's going to get a certain reaction out of someone. All of that might work in the short term, but if you want something that's effortless and sustainable, then you're going to want to be yourself, and you're going to want to follow your intuition and embody that energy of what you ultimately want to experience in life. So how do we make the new story the default? How do we make the new favorable story that we want to tell and experience in our reality the automatic story, so that manifestation is effortless? It all comes down to repetition and continuously repeating what you want, regardless of what you're seeing. And I'm going to link above my video about ignoring the 3D. And I'm also going to link my video about repetition and the importance of repeating to impress your subconscious mind. Let's demystify all of this woo-woo stuff about spiritual connections and life paths and twin flames. It's so simple. We all, let's hope, want to truly have relationships rooted in love, having energy reciprocated, to feel valued and to feel heard and to feel prioritized. And that starts with ourselves. And we're not going to accept anything less from anyone else when we feel that that's what we truly deserve. So I can make more specific videos about how to get someone back, or how to fix a relationship that's crumbling, or how to get someone to approve of you in your family who doesn't approve of you. But ultimately, the same advice packaged in a slightly different way. So let me know if you do want to see videos like that, but I really hope this was kind of the slap in the face, metaphorically speaking, that you needed to take some inventory, ask yourself, where have I been mentally dwelling when it comes to relationships or this specific person? And how can I change that to be in accordance with what I would like to see in my life? And then just live the best life possible, putting myself first, putting myself on the pedestal, and knocking down everything else that I've somehow put above me for some odd reason. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.